Hey guys, it's Cyclone here with a very special beer review for you all. I can't believe that they came out with this again, and I was so lucky to get my hands on it. Guys, this is Founders CBS 2018. Look at that, guys. Oh, I am so excited to try this thing, man. It's my favorite stout ever in the category of coffee infused, breakfast stout. Nothing touches this, in my humble opinion. Nothing. And it's also one of my favorite beers of all time. Now, I had it last year. It was great. Absolutely great. I had 3 bottles last year, and I thought that they were absolutely delicious. But, since then, I've had more beers. I've had a couple that have also gone onto that top beers of all time list. And so let's see what the 2018 brings to the table. This was bottled on October 9th, 2018. I will say that the date is looking a little bit smudged, guys. And also, the label's quite roughed up. But I don't care. I have a bottle, darn it. I have a bottle, and I'm very excited about that. And I have one more in the fridge. Ready to enjoy. You definitely want to have these guys within the first 6 months, I'd say, no later. That coffee and maple flavor, you need to get it while it's young because it's going to age. And this beer is all about that sweet syrup in the beer. And so you want to make sure you get to that delicious flavoring without any unnecessary aging or dulling of those sweet syrupy flavors. So drink these beers fresh if you can. It's my advice. The 3rd bottle I had last year was 3 months old in my fridge. It was probably 3.5 months, 4 months. I could swear that the maple was a little bit muted compared to the other 2 bottles, which I had within a 2-month period. So even then, I was noticing, at least on the bottles last year, a difference in the last bottle I tried. So guys, I can't believe that we got this beer again. Usually, comes out every couple years, not back to back. So hopefully the quality is still just as good, and they didn't sacrifice any of that to bring it back to back years. Let's see what we get with this one, guys. If they finally have a way to bring this beer out yearly, I will be very, very happy. Let's open it and see what we get. Nice hiss on the bottle, no surprises there. Beer is pretty well carbonated from my memory. As always, nice, dark, khaki head coming out, and I'm going to put that down. Oh yeah. Looks like a delicious beer. I can smell it from here. Just really tasty stuff, guys. Right away, you get that breakfast stout, dark chocolate just blasting you in the face. I mean, it's their breakfast stout. Again, this is their breakfast stout, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels, and with some additional chocolate thrown in, I believe. Oh yeah. Banana bread, chocolate croissant. I'm getting some of those nice, sweet chocolate breakfast items. Coffee. Toffee. Chocolate, literally, it smells like a chocolate croissant. Oh, caramel. Vanilla. And yes, there is some hints of maple, but as I remember from last year, the maple is in the taste. You taste maple syrup in the beer. Oh my God. Oh, I love this beer. Let's dive in. I gotta taste this beer right now. So smooth, guys. So smooth. However, I'm just trying to taste. It is out of the fridge. Maple. A maple. I swore it was stronger last I remembered. Hang on. Don't. Give it a minute. It's still very cold. I can tell that it's very well made. Maple's a little bit muted to me. Fascinating. Nice roasted character. You still get some of the hops on the backside, as they always do. Very, very nice. No alcohol whatsoever. Very well made, very balanced. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get some water and wash out my palate. Make sure that I'm not, I have nothing else on my palate. I just had some food as well, so. I do smell maple, guys. I do smell it. Okay. Okay. A little bit more as it's warming. There was a little bit more there. I think it's coming out. You got to let this beer breathe a little bit and kind of have the molecules break up a little bit as it heats up. Release some of that sweet syrup flavor, guys. Oh, yeah. I can feel it coming. I can feel it getting better as it warms, which is what I'm going to now let it do. I will come back and let you know how it is after it's warmed sufficiently. I'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Cyclone here, back with CBS 2018 edition. Fantastic beer. I have to say that up front. It's really, really well done. It's smooth. It's tasty. However, in drinking it for the past 25, 30 minutes, I can safely say that the maple syrup aspect is a little bit underwhelming. Yeah. It's a very tasty beer. It's a great breakfast stout. Probably the best breakfast stout you can have that's somewhat available. At least here. Like, I can't get some of the Sunday stouts or the, what's that, Kentucky brunch stout, the Toppling Goliath. Apparently that thing's like a must-have. This beer, in retrospect to those other ones, is pretty accessible. And with that said, I feel like this year's edition is lacking that pure maple syrup taste from the one I had last year, which I felt had a lot of maple on it. And another interesting thing to note, I'm just going to Beer Advocate, just give me a moment. Give me a second. Something interesting to note is that this year in the barrel age releases, Founders did both CBS and Better Half, Old Curmudgeon's Better Half Ale. And both beers use maple syrup in their aging process. And that got me thinking, okay, they're doing a dual maple syrup release, and it's in the same series of beers, and they're being released, one may have been last spring or summer, and this one is in fall. But even so, that's still requiring a lot of maple syrup barrels. Do they really have the resources to accommodate 2 maple syrup aged beers in the same year? Last year, to my knowledge, CBS was the only beer featuring maple, and it tasted more mapley, in my opinion, than this year's. Now, my palate has also evolved from last year as well, and I've had more top-tier stouts since reviewing CBS last year. However, I still can safely say that while in here, the maple is muted. This tastes like breakfast stout with some chocolate maple sweetness on it, but not featuring the maple enough. I recall last year in my memory that I tasted the pure maple syrup in the beer along with the roasted malt and the chocolate and the hops. And in this beer, I feel like I taste the chocolate and the hops and the roasted malt more so than I do the maple syrup taste. And as such, I cannot give this the 100 this year. I'm going to give it a 99. I give it a 99 because it is very well made. All other ways. As a breakfast stout, it's wonderful. The mouthfeel is amazing. There's no alcohol presence to speak of. The mouthfeel of this beer is, even now, the mouthfeel, it's hard to beat this mouthfeel. It's light, yet has body at the same time. It's very interesting. However, the pure maple I'm looking for, it's just not prevalent enough. I have a review here. This guy is interesting. This guy says, got it when it seemed exciting and hit the shelves, held it a bit and noticed it hung on the shelves a while, which enabled me to temper my expectations. It was really enjoyable, but definitely seemed a bit overrated. There was a lot of additional sweetness, but I couldn't find a real strong maple flavor. Just small hints when it first hit the tongue with all the sweetness. That's exactly what I'm saying. At least, another thing about CBS, they always say this about CBS. Last year, I was watching reviews and reading things that people were saying it wasn't sweet enough. My bottles were very syrupy. I loved them. Perhaps it is a lottery with this beer, and maybe you got a beer that was aged in the right kind of maple syrup barrel, and maybe you get a beer that was in a barrel not quite as saturated with maple syrup. There has to be a business practice here where it's kind of a lottery, like maybe we can use tier 2 barrels versus tier 1 barrels that had stuff in it before. Maybe this one was aged in a beer that had the better half in it first, and then they put this in there. I don't know. I don't run the business, but I'm just saying, maybe with CBS, it's more up to chance, which makes also reviewing it hard. But I can tell you it's an A+ beer, even when I feel like the maple is not that prevalent. If you like their breakfast stout, of course you're going to love CBS. I would use that as your litmus test. Really, this beer is a great overall package with all the flavors it introduces. It introduces maltiness, sweetness, and hoppiness all together. You get all three flavors, but I just feel like the featured flavor everyone's looking for is maple syrup, and that's why we review it so critically. I feel like this bottle is a little bit lacking. I gave it the 99, but I feel like as a breakfast stout, it's still world class.